Now, for the first time in 7 years, Vancouver has topped Canada's 100 best restaurants list. That's right. So joining us now is the chef, Gus Stefanhofer-Branson, executive chef of Published on Main. Gus, hello there.
Hi.
Well, you sound pretty subdued here. This is a huge recognition. How do you feel?
I mean, I feel like it's something that we've been working on for the last 2-3 years to get here. And, you know, it's been a lot of hard work. And I think we're just at the beginning of seeing that kind of, all that work paying off. But also, now it's brought us a lot more business, and now the time is not to like rest on our laurels, but actually just like dig in and keep on pushing.
Well, I can imagine the pressure is on now, right? And also you're in the spotlight. But what do you think it was that put you over the top?
I think it was just our commitment to sticking with the program, where a lot of other restaurants maybe weren't able to, you know, keep up what they wanted to do. They were like, you know, cutting down on staff, cutting back their offerings. We decided that it was our time as such a new restaurant and an unknown restaurant to keep on pushing. And that was like, you know, that was a decision we made early on in the pandemic. Like, all right, do we lay everyone off? Do we like, you know, do a different menu? And I was like, no, this is our time where we can come back with a tasting menu, where we can just push every week. And like, you know, we're doing like 4 menu changes a week, sometimes 6 menu changes a week, just to keep like, you know, keep pushing.
That's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. Can we just get to some of the food here? And you brought in some samples from your tasting menu. So this is not the main course. That's why we've got little plates and little bites. Let's talk about the importance of packing a whole lot of flavor into a little bite.
Yeah, so I mean, what we have here is just like what we would start your tasting menu with. So there's like the snacks. I call it the snacks. And basically you start your tasting menu with this barrage of tasty little bites, every single one of them packed with so much flavor.
Where do you want me to start? What would be the first bite?
Let's start with the chips and dip. So it's a puffed pickerel skin. There's an onion dip that has smoked fish in it and a little bit of fresh dill.
That's not, it's just so, I mean, you got to be very, very precise when you're putting all of this together too. So
yeah, for sure. So again, it's kind of like
you
chips
can hear
and
the
dip.
crunch.
Yeah, it's kind of like that chips and dip, like onion soup, classic sour cream onion soup kind of
Come
idea.
on, you're elevating the sour cream and onion soup here.
Yeah, so it's like familiar,
Wow.
but you look at it and you're like, I don't know what that is. You put it in and you get this kind of familiar, like, I know what that is. It's approachable, but it's different, and it's just like elevated a bit.
So when you're looking out at the dining room, then you just see people kind of having that, oh, what am I tasting? What's all going on in here in this one little bite? Because that's what's happening with me right now.
Yeah, and I think it's like, it can be kind of like that overwhelming, like, when you see all of this stuff lying on the table and you're like, oh my God, I don't know where to start.
Right.
Like, what is all this stuff? And I think that kind of like, that excitement that you get from putting that down, that's such a great way to start the meal.
Well, you've whet my appetite for more. Where do we go next?
Let's have a little chicken liver Christmas cookie.
Look at this. Wait a second. Christmas cookie with chicken liver on it. So this is like a ginger snap
Yeah,
kind
it's
of
kind
thing?
of like a speculatius, so like a German Christmas cookie. And then we have a chicken liver mousse, classic French preparation, and then a little hibiscus gel. That,
Oh, I thought those were little seeds. What am I thinking? Pomegranate.
Pomegranates. Yeah. So it gives it kind of like some acidity, some freshness to all the rich stuff going on.
I'm just going to do this through the whole thing. I'll just keep going.
I mean, that's what we're going for.
But I am getting a little bit of the ginger, a little bit of the sweetness as well, but complements the chicken liver really beautifully.
Yeah, I mean, it's rich, but it's also, you got some texture, you got some like different stuff going on.
It's rich, but it's small enough that you don't feel guilty.
Yeah, exactly.
That's kind of what happens. Now, okay, let's go on to the next one.
So we have beets with sour cream and cranberry.
That's this one?
Yeah, so it's
It looks like a little cheesecake.
Yeah, it's kind of fun, kind of cheeky. Again, lots of things that are like kind of same, but different.
Come in on that one. Come in on that one.
But yeah, just something that, you know, it's sour cream and horseradish, and then little cranberry, and then bee pollen on top.
Bee pollen on top. Okay, like where do you even come up with the inspiration for mixing these kinds of flavors?
A lot of it comes from things that we would normally, you know, that could be a dish, but how do we distill that down into one bite that's fun and exciting?
There's a whole lot going on in there as well.
Yeah, and a lot of this
texture. There's a little bit of sort of creaminess. There's a little bit of a crunch, softness, a little bit of a. I'm trying to describe. I don't know how to describe it. It's delicious. It's absolutely, and I am getting that beet flavor coming through loud and clear.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where you're trying to like, this is your first impression. You really want to make sure that people are like wowed by it, excited by it, and like this is their first impression of the restaurant and what they're doing. So like that first impression is so important, and that just sets the tone for the whole rest of the meal.
Well, you said, okay, keep going. And I
So
like
we
these
have
one
this
bite.
is our world famous smoked and candied steelhead with pickled pine.
This one here?
Yeah.
That's what you just took. You have pickled pine in this jar.
Yeah, so that's from last summer. So I'll go out and pick a bunch of pine, and then we'll pack it down in vinegar for. I mean, I don't know how much I usually get.
How much pickled pine can a pickled pine picker pick?
It's a staggering amount. Really.
Okay, pickled pine. This is taking us somewhere else as well. Let me just try a bite of that one. How are you feeling about just how much pressure is on the restaurant now that you're at the top of the list?
Obviously we have all eyes on us. There's going to be all sorts of skeptical people like, oh, I ate at this restaurant, it's #1, and it's why isn't it the same as like what you guys are doing? I think it comes down to sticking with our kind of vision of what we're doing. We have such a strong team, both front of house, back of house. We have an amazing wine program led by Jayton. Amanda, our GM, is just like so good at pulling that front house team together. Connor, my chef de cuisine, like just drives the boat so that I can focus on being creative.
That's
so
the team. That's teamwork.
It's the team that really makes us who we are.
Okay.
I have the vision of what we're doing, and the creativity of like coming up with all this stuff. But it takes a huge team to execute that stuff.
I just want to point this one out because it looks like a little Coca-Cola bottle, and there's a reason for that.
Yeah, so it's foie gras mousse, and then Coca-Cola gelée on top.
So again, where do you even get this? I don't know. Let's put Coca-Cola on the foie gras. Is this done anywhere else? Is this sort of an original?
I've never seen it. I saw the molds, and I just was like, all right, that's what we're gonna do.
Okay, really interesting texture. Now this has been out in warmer temperatures as well. You normally serve this like chilled, a little bit chilled. This will be still all those flavors are coming together.
Yeah.
That is really, really interesting.
Yeah, and it's just cheeky, right? Again, something that we know. And here, let me just.
Love that. Oh, thank you very much. Got my fingers on that. Yeah, that is fantastic and so original. So that's something like this becomes kind of a signature. You got to try this when you go to publish. That's kind of how it works, or?
Yeah, and I think it's one of those things where we constantly we have this repertoire of snacks now. And like we know we have ones that are proven, that work, that do really well. And then we're constantly pushing to add new ones to the list.
Right, okay, what else have you got?
Yeah, so we have a little radish pie.
What did you just do?
That's elderflower vinegar.
Okay, just give it a little spritz.
Yeah.
Radish pie.
So it's a little brisée tart. There's cashew cilantro cream on the bottom, and then fresh radishes, and then a little bit of rapini flowers.
Isn't that, it almost looks like a little taco or something like that,
Yeah.
the way you've kind of piled it up in there. Okay. That is gorgeous. I guess I should do it one bite, right?
Yeah, they're all kind of like mostly destined to be like one-biters.
Okay.
But, it's really up to you.
What about mains that are standouts that published?
So we've come up with nearly 500 different offerings at Publish since we opened. I don't know how. It's crazy to me that we've between all the features and all the menu items that we've changed all the time. So there's the Abelskiver, which is a Danish savory donut with stuffed with stewed herbs. There's the chips and dip, and there's the Hey Dessert. Those are the only 3 dishes that have been on since day one.
Fantastic. Those are the ones you can't take off the menu either, because people will come back for those.
Yeah, and I'm finding increasingly we're finding dishes that we have a harder time removing, like the prawn dish that's on the cover of the 100 Best magazine. It's been on for a year now, and I'm struggling to find something that's better. Like it's reached its final form.
Right.
It's perfect.
You have perfect. Don't mess with perfection, Gus. Don't mess with perfection. Listen, I want to thank you so much for coming in here today and giving me just a taste of Published on Main, and congratulations again on your success.
Yeah, thanks so much.